Welcome to the November 6, 2023 regular scheduled City Council meeting has now been called to order. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, shall we roll call?
Becky Curtis.
Here.
Alexander Williams.
Here.
Gina Reed Hitler. Here. John Breckenridge.
Here.
And Queef the mics. They're
Yes.
a little louder.
Oh, I'm sure everybody out there likes it and those in TV land.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Now, next, we're doing the public participation. Anybody who would like to speak to the council, please feel free to come up. You have 5 minutes to speak. Be sure before you speak, you put your address and your phone number on the pad that's there. And please try to speak into the microphone so that everybody can hear you. Thank you.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
My name is Nick Taylor, and I'd like to propose the idea on the Walnut and Prospect right there where the where Bloom is, the dispensary. There's about 4 flags right there, and when you're sitting at that, when you're facing west, it's hard to see oncoming traffic. So it kind of blocks the view of everything. And I think with all the traffic that Bloom's created, and coming out of the co-op, and the CBD shop across the street, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of if y'all would consider like a stoplight or something there. I've got a daughter. She'll be 15 in December, start driving, and my wife's been in a wreck at that intersection just because it's hard to see everything, and just for now, if they could take down the flags or move them back, 2, 3, 4 feet, that way we can see what's coming, from the north there. But yeah.
All right, Tim, do you want to take
Yes.
notes? All right.
I witnessed the wreck there one time. It was scary.
I wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't brought to attention.
Yeah, thank you.
Nick, if you'll make sure your telephone number there was clear, we'll get back to you on it.
Okay.
Good.
Good evening.
Sorry.
My name's Blake Johnson. I live over here at 704 East 2nd Street, and I am in the middle of a dilemma with my neighbor's sewer. I have tried many aspects of trying to alleviate the situation. Nothing is coming to any sort of fruition. The neighbors themselves have anchored themselves to the point that they are not going to do anything. I'm looking for some kind of relief from the city of Cameron to help me influence their decision to be different than what it is. I don't know exactly who to talk to. I've spoke with several members of the city council already, and several members of the city of Cameron utilities and stuff, and everybody kind of seems to be at a loss. When I had spoke with Missouri Department of Natural Resources and Clinton County Health Department, they have some rather straightforward recommendations, but it doesn't seem to work out very well when I come to speak with members of the city utilities or anybody. So I would like to be put on the agenda for the 16th, I think it is. Is it 16th?
20th.
The 20th, 2 weeks from now. I would like to be put on the agenda to see if there's something that can be done to alleviate this.
So you talked to our city manager about the problem?
Well, yeah, I've spoke with Mr. Wymes and Gina, and I had talked with Greg Harris before he resigned, and there's several other people that are aware of kind of what's going on, but like I said, the neighbors have instead of done anything, to kind of even, let's see if it is messed up to what can be done to alleviate it. They have taken a course a complete 180 degrees. They have went ahead and surveyed the property and put up a whole bunch of fencing, a whole bunch of other things. And, well, they just don't want to fix their sewer though.
Well, I will get briefed from the staff, and then,
Yeah, we'll make sure that we look at it and look at both sides of the story, and we'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll make sure I get back to you before the next city council meeting, and we can figure out what we want to do then.
All right, thank you, sir.
Sure enough.
Make sure you get your contact information on there. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
any others? All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda, shall we?
Item A, motion to approve the minutes of the October 16, 2023 regular session. Item B, motion to approve the minutes of the October 26, 2023 special session.
Do I have anyone who would like to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? No? Then we will go ahead and vote on the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Next is our appointments. Shelley?
There are 3 positions on the library board that are expiring, that Robert Stevener, Keziah Westover, and Tanya Boyle. Mr. Stevener has been on the board long enough that he's turned out he has to take a break before he can get back on the board. Attached in your packets are the applications for Mr. Westover and Ms. O'Boyle, who wish to remain on the board, and a new application for Janice O'Connor. The library board met and recommended those appointments to the council, so if there's no objection, I'll put that on the next agenda for a vote. And while we're talking about appointments, we do have an opening on the TIF Commission board, which I have put in the newspaper, but we are looking for someone to volunteer to be on that board. They don't meet very often, but like to have a full board when they do.
Thank you very much. Council, we will look at these and we'll vote on them next time. All right, now we're ready for the city manager's report. Steve?
Thank you very much, Mayor. I just have 2 short items, but they could be more long-standing. The first thing is we wanted to give you back a word on Griffin Road. You know, we had the issue of the gas lines and the fiber optic line that had to be moved, and then we had last week bad weather. So we were worrying about where we are, but the weather is looking good, and those 2 things have been done. I'm going to ask Tad to come up and give us a report. We've been talking to CP, and we'll see where we are on the paving now.
So today they proof rolled it, which means to make sure that the compaction is good before they put down the base rock and all that.
Could you pull the microphone a little closer if you're there?
They also started putting the base rock down today, and it'll take them the rest of the week to put the base rock down. That'll give them Monday, the 13th, to fine tune the final grade. And then they also have scheduled the 14th and 15th, they will put 8 inches of asphalt base down, and then the 16th, they will put the last 2 inches of finished product down. And there was a third party that inspected the proof roll today. And then the week of the 20th, QTC will stripe Griffin Road.
Okay, so does anybody know what the weather's supposed to be like?
As of right now, it looks pretty good, but that's no guarantee.
Okay,
This is all depends on the weather.
Okay, so I'm just a curious soul. What happens if right in the middle of it, we just wait? Or what if that it turns to the time where asphalt's no longer gonna be dropped this year? Or
That
Yeah, we'll have to see what that time comes, but right now, it looks like the weather is okay for asphalt on the 15th and the 16th. That are the only days that, we only need 2 days to get it down. Once it's down, then we're okay with the weather, because it just needs to be warm when we put it down. And we're hopeful that that's going to happen. If it looks like that's going to be a problem, we'll come up with the alternatives then and see.
But as of right now, it's supposed to be the highs in the low 60s, the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
good, that'd be great. That'd be great.
And that'll be the end of next week then, and we'll know.
So did we resolve the situation that presented itself at our last city council meeting concerning that road?
What happens is the engineer reports came back and they said that they have taken everything that is necessary to take care of any water that comes there. And while they dug down, I think they said 6 or 8 feet and found no evidence of more underground water, it's possible there might be them. So the fact that they didn't find any doesn't mean it isn't there, but they didn't find any. But in any case, wherever the water might come from rains or from off of the hillsides, the way they designed it now will have the ditches on the side so the water won't affect the road.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Okay, the next item is historic preservation, and council has asked historic preservation to give us an update on the buildings in the 200 block of 3rd Street, and Allen Reed from Historic Preservation is here to talk about that. And Alan, I'll ask you if you can come up to the microphone, but I do want to say, and Alan gave me permission to say that he's been in the hospital all day, he's on medication now, so he wanted to come in and give a report to you, but if he has any lengthy discussion, he'd prefer that we put those in writing, you give them to me, and I'll get back to him and get it to him.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your understanding. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good evening. For the visitors that are here tonight that don't know me, as Steve said, I'm Allen Reed, President of Historical Preservation Society, also called the Old School, and we are in our second year of a 5-year agreement with the city to attempt to restore and revitalize the 200 block of East 3rd Street. And City Manager Steve Rasmussen mentioned that several council members had wished for an update on our progress, so I will offer a brief one for you here this evening. I'm happy to announce that our agreement and the city ordinance that was created for that, the old school has paid the required liability insurance that we must provide for as long as we own the buildings, and this was a responsibility that we agreed to in writing, and we have honored that commitment. For as long as I'm president of the organization, I will be honest and above board in my dealings with the city of Cameron. We are continuing our fundraising efforts and just finished hosting a very successful gun show at the old school, and we have many more ideas planned, and are very proud of the fact that every penny that we raise stays in the old school, and are very proud of the progress that we have been making with our fundraising. We are working diligently with knowledge that the building our projects account gives us better chances at grants that might require us to match any funds that might be required in a grant. We have made contact with or I should say I have made contact with a private investor who may be interested in helping with our organization in the efforts. We are in constant contact with the Community Development Director, Tim Wymes, and who's also recently been elected to a position with MoKan, and he's keeping us informed about grants we're eligible for, and we are also looking beyond MoKan to other grant sources. We have recently learned of a zero to low interest rate loan that a regional bank officer will be discussing with us. This would allow us to borrow in phases, repairing the buildings and preparing for sale or lease in order of structural importance. And finally, we are exploring a remediation program that would help finance our project if we meet job creation or retention goals. So we are diversifying our search, so to speak, as not to put all our eggs in one basket, and we're very thankful for the opportunity we have to try and save these historic buildings, and do not intend to squander it. And I thank you very much for your time and your understanding, and I apologize if I'm not up to full speed this evening.
Understandable.
Thank you for showing up and taking the time to brief us despite everything going on with you, Mr. Reed.
Yeah.
And I'll get a question.
Yes. You're very welcome, and yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll get any questions then from you have, and give those to me anytime, we'll get back to you. Okay, thank you, Mayor, that's all I have.
All right. Do I need to talk about the unfinished business? This is postponed?
Are we still postponing it? If we do, we need to postpone it.
Okay.
Yes, and what's happened is we have been taking the members of City Council around to look at these different locations so they can have full knowledge of it. We've got about halfway there. This week we want to get the other ones there to get full information on it, and so we'd ask that we postpone it for one more council meeting, and then we'll bring it back the next time.
I make a motion to postpone it for one more council. Second.
Do we vote? Yes. All those in favor of postponing?
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. We're postponing it. Thank you. That moves us on to our new business. Shelley?
Bill 2023-33, an ordinance approving a service agreement between the Cameron Fire Protection District and the City of Cameron, Missouri to provide fire protection and emergency services outside the Cameron city limits.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2023-33 on its first reading.
So.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Yes, Mike O'Donnell is here for that.
Thank you all for tonight. In 1994, the Cameron Rural Fire District formed a district which basically encompasses outside the city limits and the Cameron School District, which includes about approximately 144 square miles of rural area. Within that district, they assess on property taxes, so there's a fee that individuals living in that area pays. So what happened in 1994, the fire district asked for the city of Cameron to actually work within this contract, and the city of Cameron provide all the fire protection and emergency services within that area. For the services, the Rural Fire District pays the city of Cameron 60% of their proceeds to the city of Cameron directly, which now is in tune somewhere around $125,000 per year. With the 40% that they retain, all 40% of that money comes directly to the fire department to purchase equipment with. So you might as well say that all the proceeds that's collected within that district comes to the city of Cameron. for the money that comes to the city of Cameron or the rural fire district, and the patrons that lives within that area gets our services just like everybody else does in the city. This agreement, again, is a yearly agreement. It goes from January 1 to December 31 of every year. It is the same agreement that was drafted back several years ago. There have been some small changes made, and every year we change the insurance amount, because that goes in, were changes by the state of Missouri insurance law. So that has been changed within this agreement. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
It's worked really well for us. How many years have we been doing this?
Since 1994.
94.
Works real well for us.
My whole life.
There you go again. All right, thank you. All right. All those in favor of passing Bill 2023-34 on reading? No, that's not right. 2023-33 on a first reading, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes? All right, now we're getting ready to have a first reading on Bill 2023-34. So,
Bill 2023-34, an ordinance for the city of Cameron, Missouri, authorizing a conditional use permit for Don Daly to operate a bed and breakfast in an R2 two-family residential district at 205 Northwest Street.
all right. I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2023-34.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Good evening, council. In your package, you should have received information regarding a conditional use permit for a bed and breakfast or VRBO type operation. This did go to planning and zoning for public hearing on October 10th. The Planning and Zoning Commission did discuss the possibility of endorsing or recommendation to City Council for the bed and breakfast. Just like the other similar application that we had in the past, we required the same guidelines. We did inspect the property, our inspectors, to make sure that they meet the life safety aspects, and there was no opposition during the public hearing, so I recommend that it's approved by City Council.
So is there sales tax collected on these rooms?
No.
If they go through Airbnb, I believe it is.
There would be sales tax collected on these rooms.
I thought that. Okay.
There would be sales tax collected on these rooms as long as the occupant does not stay for greater than 31 days.
I'm thinking hotel, motel.
That's, well, yeah, I would hope so, but I happen to know the one we have, what they use, and that program that you calculate sales tax. I just don't know if they pay it to us.
Yeah, so if you utilize Airbnb will collect it as part of their fees and distribute it.
Right, I noticed that, yes.
I did not know.
Oh, I'm always looking for that stuff. Any questions? All right. All those in favor, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of passing Bill 2023-34 on first reading, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, Shirley, now we have another bill, 2023-35.
Bill 2023-35, an ordinance for the city of Cameron, Missouri, authorizing a conditional use permit for Derek Iddings to operate a bed and breakfast in an R2 two-family residential district at 102-104 East Prospect Street.
I will entertain a bid to pass Bill 2023-35 on first reading.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Again, you guys should have received information in your packet. Same bed and breakfast went before Planning and Zoning on September 11, 2023, had a public hearing. There was no opposition. They met the same guidelines, requirements, and our staff inspected the property to make sure the life safety and hazard measures were taken.
I happen to know where these locations are because you put the address. If there's more than one car, are they going to be able to park on the street?
Well, they're required to supply guidelines on their parking plan. 102, 104 East Prospect, they have parking in the front, and they also have parking in the rear.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Because not too many cars could go in the front.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Any other questions for Tim? All right, I will entertain let's vote on, all those in favor of passing Bill 2023-35, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. One in favor, zero opposed. That moves us on to first reading of Bill 2023-35, Shelley.
Bill 2023-36, an ordinance approving an agreement between the City of Cameron, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission regarding the construction and maintenance of certain improvements generally surrounding the Bob F. Griffin Road and US 36 highway intersection, and authorizing the city manager to execute the same on behalf of the City of Cameron, Missouri.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2023-36 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor and Council. We've had a lot of discussion about this, and we did some a couple weeks ago so that we could go through the detail of it. Mike O'Donnell is here, and he's prepared the memo for this, and would like to discuss that with you further. Mike?
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thanks again. As we all know, we've been talking about the improvements at Bob F. Griffin and 36 Highway for quite some time, and the CID district that was formed in that area to pay for improvements, for intersection improvements. We met 2 weeks ago, as you all remembered, and it was in the Finance Committee. Met in open forum to discuss this. We met downstairs, I think, for about an hour and answered questions or anything that you might have asked me. In front of you is the actual ordinance that approves the agreement between MoDOT and the City of Cameron. And as we discussed that night, MoDOT likes to work with governmental agencies because of securities and other things of that nature. So in this agreement is actually the agreement to accept that 50/50 grant. We applied for the 50/50 match grant for improvements there, approximately $3.3 million worth of improvements to the CID, which would be paying their 50% or 150 or 1.5 million roughly by the end of the day when that's completed. And I have to say again, the CID will be paying that part. It will not be any funds coming from the City of Cameron.
Yeah, that's a little scary if you did.
So anyway, this is there's actually two phases to this, like we discussed Monday evening. One is the agreement for the 50/50 match. The other is the acquiring of right-of-way from MoDOT on the south side of 36 Highway on Bob F. Griffin to the top of the hill of Comfort Lane, and then on the north side of 36 Highway from there to the city limit line. There was discussion, as you remember, of a partial grant for that, but the City of Cameron decided not to do that 50/50 grant for some improvements on those areas outside of what the CID wants to improve. So as you remember, we talked that evening and with, like I said, with city staff, and that's what they want to do is acquire those road right-of-ways from MoDOT. So that's where we are tonight, is to pass this so we can get it approved. It has to be approved by sometime in the middle of December and get back to MoDOT so they can continue with the process, and we can continue with the process. Hopefully, it looks like right now, if everything goes somewhere in 2025 is where we should see construction, as we talked the other night. So that's what's on the agenda for tonight, and then there's other things that's coming down the line fairly quickly. So is there any questions? I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
It's not that easy. Anybody have anything else to say? Pass. All those in favor of passing Bill 2023-36, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes, 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Now we're moving on to Bill 2023-37.
Bill 2023-37, an ordinance authorizing the city manager of the city of Cameron, Missouri to enter into an agreement with Genesis Environmental Solutions, Inc. to complete the improvements on Northland Drive.
All right, I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2023-37 on first reading.
So, second.
Discussion.
One thing before we start, I'd like to note is this is a difficult situation with Northland Drive because what happens is we're beginning to do this construction, try to get this done at the same time that we're opening up the ball fields next year. And so Tad is working hard to figure out the ways to do that and keep the traffic and the game going at the same time. I'll let him go ahead and give us some details.
Yeah, what Steve was talking about was, I'm thinking about maybe doing one lane going into the park and then entering and then exiting out on the 8th Street extension that come back out on Grand Avenue.
Like a loop?
Yeah, just have it one way for now until they can get the other lanes.
What would you have to do with the 8th Street thing for that kind of traffic to go through there?
It's gravel right now and our crews will
Be enough wide?
Yeah, we'll maintain it. For one, there's 2 houses on that road, so.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue, and, we can maintain and we'll add rock if need to, so. So this here is an agreement into a contract with Genesis Environmental Solution for the Northland Drive Improvement Project. They were the lowest bid of $1,413,308.34. This project consists of new curb, gutter, storm sewer, 6-inch asphalt street, and sidewalk. Anything else for me?
One thing I'd like to add, and I'll ask Carmen about this, is where the money is coming from, because we have money in the transportation fund, and we had 3 roads that we were working on, 4, but the next one coming up after this is Harris. And so I asked Carmen, how much money will we have for Northland Drive?
So, if you recall, we passed a resolution back, I believe in August or September, that we would be able to reimburse the city of Cameron for any of the expenses for Northland Drive, Harris Street, and any other road projects for a future financing that we're going to be doing here in the next 6 weeks. We will get that started and beginning to schedule for you. We are paying for Griffin Road out of our cash balance, so we do not quite have all the monies set aside for this project. We probably have over half. So that's why we are doing the financing, so we can continue with making these street improvements with the funds we have available and expect to continue to collect.
And the debt service for that financing is paid out of what?
The transportation improvement tax.
Right.
And we had discussed that when we planned our budget. We have the debt service proceeds and the debt service payments already built into our current budget.
Yep, I remember that. Good. Anything else, Ted?
Nope, I think that's all. You guys have anything for me?
It is included in this that there's a change order number 1, but that change order has a $0. It's just correcting the bid because when they submitted their bid, they got off on the points. So it's acknowledging that there was an error on the bid, but there's a $0 change. That okay.
Who, I read this contract, but I forgot, who's overseeing this as far as, is Bartlett and West overseeing this one?
Yes, they'll have an inspector on site.
And we'll have better, yeah, okay, good. Good. All right, any other questions? All All those in favor of passing Bill 2023-37, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Next, we go to Bill 2023-38. Shelley.
Bill 2023-38, an ordinance authorizing the city manager of the city of Cameron, Missouri to enter into a professional services agreement with HDR for engineering services for a sewer extension on BB Highway, Task Order 15.
All right, I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2023-38 on the first reading.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. As you'll all remember, back last month with Ordinance 6290, the City Council annexed the property there located just south of BB Highway. And as part of that annexation, it was part of the city that was responsible for furnishing normal municipal services. We do have electric and water currently on site, but we do not have sewer. So unfortunately, we'll have to run a sewer line extension to that property. And again, as the Code of State Regulations states, under the Clean Water Commission and minimum design standards, that has to be done by a licensed engineer in the state of Missouri. So we reached out to HDR to start that process. And they were able to get back to us Task Order 15 to complete this process. Task Order 15 does include the entire project, so it not only includes doing the topographic and property surveys, it does include the easements and geotechnical and preliminary plans, along with the final plans, contract documents, and specs. And then it also includes them going through the bidding application, contract award, and then the construction administration services as well.
Okay.
And so the not to exceed amount on that task order is $191,000.
And of course, it's not a secret now that there's a new truck stop going in at that corner, which our ordinances say that we will provide services to.
Yeah. Any questions for Zach?
How much will the sewer line cost?
Ultimately,
We're estimating a total project cost of about $750,000. And again, obviously that part of what HDR is going to look at, they're going to look at alternatives, look at, give us a couple different options and route location, stuff like that. So again, we could probably do it for a little less than that, but that's kind of the number that we're using now when we're starting to talk about financing and how we're going to pay for the project. And ultimately, that is paid back through sewer rates.
and of course, much of the sewer rate will be paid by the user who gets the sewer design.
Is that anything else? All right. All those in favor of passing Bill 2023-38, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes 4 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, now that moves us on to our first resolution for this evening. Resolution 2023-44, Shelley.
Resolution 2023-44, a resolution for the city of Cameron, Missouri to rescind resolution 2021-41 and replace it with updated guidelines for the dilapidated to new demolition program.
I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2023-44. Just pass it.
So second.
Discussion.
Good evening again. On August 31st, the Policies and Procedures Committee met to discuss and look at all the documents pertaining to the demolition and dilapidated to new program. The purpose of that meeting was to put clarification language in the program to educate the participants on the consequences of not, fulfilling their obligations. We have a 2-tier program, the 50-50 and 100% demolition. Each program requires that the participant to build a single-family dwelling within a 2-year period. If they fail to do that or complete that, the property automatically reverts back to the city, the 100% demolition program. If they fail to do so in a 50-50, they are to repay the city back their portion for the demolition. And also, we also discuss that the 50-50 program in the past, it did not come to city council, so to memorialize it, we want it to be done by resolution, so we have a paper trail of all the demolition properties.
That's probably wise.
I do like that, the new resolution also, it has the 4 attachments. The old one only had just the wording of the 50-50 and the 100% program. And now it's got all the documents that are involved in the process, and so I don't have to go looking for them and know where they're at.
They're all right there.
Yeah, they're all right there, and they've all had the wording updated to be very clear about what happens if you don't follow them.
Good.
As you all know, we won both state and international awards for this program, and I've got many calls from other cities who would like to use the same kind of a program. This doesn't change the program, it just makes sure the language is absolutely clear so everybody understands it when they go in.
So there's no misunderstandings.
Right.
All right, any other questions?
This clarifies from a legalese standpoint, when you buy a piece of property, that you can build a single family house.
Correct.
Within a certain time frame where you forfeit your money.
Correct.
And Patrick, can you confirm that for us?
Yes, it already said that in the actual legal structure that is required by the law to say it. We just additionally added another sentence that says it again in a more common sort of vernacular.
For us peasants, right?
I didn't say that, but that's your person.
You said common.
A more usual vernacular.
We're not all landed gentry like you said.
I appreciate your work on this. I think anything we can do to make it clear to the public is a good thing.
I was a group effort, so I can't take all the credit.
All right, let's go ahead. All those in favor of passing resolution 2023-44, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. That moves us on to resolution 2023-45. Shelley.
Resolution 2023-45, a resolution of the City of Cameron, Missouri to appoint incoming police chief Dan Miller to the ACCD 911 board to replace retiring police chief Craig Asher.
I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2023-45.
So, second.
Discussion.
Mayor, Council. For several years, the City of Cameron has been a member of the ACCD 911 board. Currently, I'm on the board as a voting member, and then Dan Miller is the alternate for us. With my retirement at the end of the year, we'd like to place Dan Miller as the voting member on the ACCD 911 board, and also make Ryan O'Boyle, who is a sergeant with the Cameron Police Department, the alternate. Any questions?
We trust you. Say that. Any questions, Chief?
What's the board do?
What's that?
What's the board do?
So the ACC 911 board was formed back in the early 90s with counties and cities that did not have 911. So this board mainly provides equipment to each PSAP, which a PSAP is an answering point. So in the ACCD 911, you have Andrew County, Clinton County, Caldwell County, DeKalb County, and the City of Cameron. Each of those have 2 voting members on it in the counties, but the city has 1. So all the 911 equipment that we've showed you guys, the incoming calls, the mapping and everything, ACC 911 takes care of that, and there's no cost to us. The only thing that we really have cost is the building and our employees to run the 911 equipment. But we've had a great partnership with ACC 911, and they've paid for a lot of great equipment. We have some very top-notch equipment for our area through this board.
Yeah, we do.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for asking.
No, very good.
Good to know.
Very good.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, all those in favor of passing resolution 2023-45, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, our next resolution is 2023-46. Shelley.
Resolution 2023-46, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an engagement letter with PST Engineering to complete a structural engineering study at Cameron City Hall.
All right, I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2023-46.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Okay, a little bit of preface for this. I want to make sure everybody understands that there's 3 steps to this that we're going through. The first problem is we have currently have got mold and water coming into the building now. The worst part was right here in the front lobby. And so I asked that we go out and immediately do a contract, a small amount of money, $3,000 or $4,000, to get that improved right now, to get it cleaned up and put a patch on it, to get that done so that we don't have water and mold here in the building. That's step one. This then is the second step, and what we're doing here is getting the engineering work done by PST. But that isn't the plans. All this is doing is telling us what's wrong. We have lots of problems with the roof. In fact, when they came up and looked at it, they said, just fixing the leak over there is just a Band-Aid. And I said, okay, but we'll settle for a Band-Aid now. We also have wall problems. You see the cracking outside, foundation problems. The reason we have trouble with that front door is that the building is settling. And you can see in the hallway back here that elements of the windows and the walls there are beginning to move. So what this is what we're going to find out what is wrong and what needs to be done. Then the third thing is we'll have to bring back another step to you, which is we'll have to contract for having those things done. But we don't know what those things are until PSD can come back and tell us what those things are. It seems surprising to me that a building that this is new and looks as nice as it is having so much problems, but that's what we're stuck with, and these things all began all before we were here, but we're here now and we're the ones that have to deal with it.
Oh, I was here.
Okay, Tim, thank you.
You said it all. So yeah, like Steve said, this is just an engagement letter to allow PST Engineer to do a investigative study. Talk to Frank Comer with PST Engineering. They are going to do some core sampling drilling, various locations in the front of the building and some on the back side of the building. There is deflections in the wall. He did climb up on the roof along with our building inspectors. The roof looks pretty bad. And we did contact a remediation company to come out and do some remediation work to the front entry and the lobby area. Just communicating back and forth with them through email. So that may begin next week sometime. So yes, we are working diligently to try to abate the problem.
Well, it was on our radar that we needed to see what was all wrong with our.
Yeah. Speaking with Frank at our last visit, he said there were some some architectural design flaws within the building that should have never been designed the way it was or is.
Yeah.
Is this coming out of ARPA? Isn't it?
This isn't now, but we might.
Okay, so.
Yes, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this 27 coming out of ARPA now?
Oh, in our ARPA, we have 2 expense line items for this current budget year. As of right now, was a financial software and this exploratory report.
Okay,
And so it was like $27,000 or $35,000. It was a lower amount and it was for the exploratory report, pretty much only. So and you're right. So
And then
Actually do something.
I think you guys didn't want to commit all that money until we found out what was right.
Right.
yeah, if we can find out that we can get it done reasonably, well, then we might use ARPA funds. But if it's more than that, we don't want to use it all. But we don't know what it is until we find out. And one of the things we've got, and it goes back to the report that Historic Preservation gave. We talk about all of the other people and buildings in town that need to be maintained. Well, we do need to maintain our own as well.
Well, that's something that I really think at this council should talk about what the future holds is taking care of our own buildings.
Well, yes. And one of the things that the mayor has asked for, and we will work on that, is to put into the budget some kind of an ongoing facilities maintenance amount, so we don't let this go for years and years. We do it as we go along to keep it up to date.
Well, since I've been on council, we've had a building roof collapse. So I mean, yeah, I think that would be, we're supposed to take care of what we have. I would like for us to figure out how to do that with our building. And I'm sure the rest of the council will probably feel the same way.
I do.
I got one.
Anything else, Tim?
What
No,
if
that's
it's-
it.
What if it's cheaper to move into the 3rd Street building?
No, Alex is supposed to be the bigger one. All right. All those
That's my day off.
All those in favor of passing resolution 2023-46, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, you pass the engineering. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, that moves us on to a discussion. On our agenda, economic development, community development.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. And as we did not renew the contract with the Chamber of Commerce for economic development, Cameron, we've been asked to come up with the options of what we've got. And Carmen has come up with several of those. We're going to present those to you now. And you have those to pass out, Carmen? Okay, while you're passing those out, I just want to say that we're not asking for a decision now. This isn't, we just want to get your ideas and whatever you want to do, then we can put that into some kind of form of ordinances regulation as we go along. But right now, this is discussion, so we see what it is you want to do, and Carmen's going to give you some options on that.
Okay. So staff has informally talked about this plan. And so we've come up with 3 different options, and part of them go back to the days prior to EDOC, and with our agreement with EDOC, and then adjusting our community development director's position and his job duties to be community development, the zoning, the planning, and all those areas. And then removing the inspection and code enforcement from under his departmental wing. Prior to that agreement, the agreements with EDOC, the code enforcement and inspections were separate from community development. The other thing I'd like to point out is this department, 1015, is funded by the utility funds and the governmental fund. So when we separate inspections from community development, and if we do not expend the money for EDOC, if we want to keep that full amount in the community development department, all of those funds have to stay in community development, and we cannot disperse them down to what I call 1024 code enforcement inspections. I just wanted to say that before I passed out the papers and lost your attention.
Okay, I'm trying to follow you on that. So these funds that go to it now, if we do something different, the funds can't go there? Is that
Can't stay there.
Can't?
Cannot stay, because community development is considered a governmental fund. And since it's for enriching our community through expanding utility sources several times, we are allowed to take a percentage from utilities to fund that department. So as you'll see in here, I've left the 1015 department, community development, the same balance. But there's going to be extra work that will need to be moved from Tim's department of 1015 down to inspection and code enforcement.
Is that another department then?
That is an existing department, and we would be enhancing that department.
That's code enforcement, so Tim is upstairs here doing economic development, and Michael is downstairs with the code enforcement people. Two separate departments, and in the budget, they're two separate departments, just because it was that way historically, and we never changed them around, even when we had Tim managing both departments.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Carmen did a great job of putting together this meeting. When you look at it, it'll kind of look like there's a lot of numbers on that, but she'll clarify it for you. It looks good.
So on page 1, the very first column is our current budget that we are trying to live in. And it's general fund only. So during the course of business, since we have created this budget, we have made a commitment to the airport for the airport engineering of $70,000. And it has also been brought to our attention that we need to add $10,000 for sidewalks to the street department. So that leads us to the second column. So if we make those budget adjustments, which I plan to do here in the next 2 months, that's what our budget would look like, just doing those two activities. So part of the duties that we feel that will need to be completed by someone other than Tim, if we rearrange Tim's job description or his position's job description, is the planner duties, which would be reviewing building permits for larger commercial projects, subdivisions, and probably other things that I'm not aware of because I'm not an engineer or a planner. So we are thinking of what the funds would be required to do a part-time planner. The middle column is a full-time planner. And the third column is just hire someone on an as-needed basis. And there we have the difference in the revenues less expenses for each scenario. And these are all just estimates. So if you go to page 2, that is a overall high-level view of a community development department. We currently have 1 full-time employee. And they do planning and zoning, conditional use permits, board of adjustments, TIF commission, and they perform the duties of a departmental director of inspection and code enforcement. That means vacation, sick leave, authorizations, employee reviews, employee meetings, such as that. That department also promotes city involvement with various boards. Historically, they've been involved with MoKan, Highway 36, Great Northwest Day, along with others. I don't know how much of a leadership role, but I know we've had those groups being involved. And this department has also funded the EDOT contract. So we go to the right, we would still have 1 full-time employee, still do planning, everything except for the departmental director duties of inspection and code enforcement. Then the lower half is what we currently have in inspection code enforcement, 3 full-time employees. They are required for the building permits, inspections, business licenses, animal control, and other things that have to do with code enforcement. So we would make them more self-sufficient, and in the past, the building inspector was the department head. And that has basically stayed in that same grade classification line for employees. On page 3, the first column is our existing budget of $195,481. That was $195,481. So the large thing, the biggest adjustment here, since this is a Department of One, it still is a Department of One. The professional services line item 1015-20800 is currently set at $45,000. So I would plan on adjusting that down to $20,000 and then reallocating the other 25 to other things that would need to be done. There would be more travel, training, education, more memberships, office supplies, and promotions and marketing that we currently do not expend directly ourselves. And those would just be adjustments made for that department, whether we went with a part-time planner or whatever you want to call this person, a full-time employee or an as-needed planner. The last page, on page 4, is our expense definition or distribution for inspection and code enforcement. I have listed the 3 employees that are currently in that department so you could, visualize, those people and what they're doing. We would say if you had a part-time planner, 1,500 hours, $20 an hour would be $30,000. We would have to affect the FICA for that person and some other small amounts of structure, systems and grounds, telephone, like the charge for an email, maybe another computer, things such as that. If we went with a full-time planner, that would be a grade 9. We would probably have to be mid-range. We're probably way undervaluing what it would cost for this, but that's basically where our other inspectors have been in that general area. So with that, you add in an annual salary, you adjust the FICA, you adjust the group medical, loggers, and there again, you still have the same set of computer costs, operational costs as you would with a part-time planner. Then if we were to go with an outside service, I just estimated $100 an hour for 20 hours per month, and that would be a $24,000 investment. We would not have to adjust the salaries line or the FICA or any other things like that. So that's just one version of what it comes down to with the nuts and bolts, and you can see as the numbers go across how they fluctuate. I did not study or recall how many building permits we've had, how many subdivision applications. We have been fortunate, we have had our larger commercial expansions here in the last 2 years. So, and we know the other truck stop coming in, that will take extra review than what maybe city staff is qualified to do. I do not know what's required, but anyway. So I put a lot of numbers out here, and I know the answer is somewhere in the middle. And it's not the only answers.
Well, I appreciate the information, and it's a lot of numbers, but in my opinion, it's a pretty clear and concise way that you've managed to convey the information, so I thank you for that.
I just feel, I'm hesitant about putting in a full-time governmental type position that will have the recurring costs year after year, when we may have a negative budget. My thought, for what it's worth, is to see how we do in the next 6 months to a year, next budget season, see what's happening in our community, and go from there. But that's just one evaluation.
And that then would be the third option, which is we just do part-time planner as needed, and we don't put any money up front until we find out what problems we have. That's kind of what the staff has been thinking.
Okay, I'll leave it for your discussion.
So the staff wants, the staff recommendation is to hold off. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's, might be Cardinals.
Yeah, that would be mine. You know, Mr. Wymes, he's more involved in this directly. He deals on a daily basis. I just look at the bird's eye view of the numbers.
Okay.
Well, and we've had this discussion through the staff, and everybody kind of thinks the same thing. Amy is here from HR and is looking at the numbers and the budget as well. So we've all been talking about these things. It's not hitting us new. But we're presenting this to you all, then we don't need anything from you tonight. You can think about it and ask us questions and come back and see what you think.
What you're saying is that the community director cannot multitask and take a different, another responsibility. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that if we want to focus that much on community development, you know, on expanding our community, our current employees may not have the time to assist with that department.
Okay.
You know, because they just automatically rely on him, and, well, whoever would be in that position, they look for him for leadership. And I feel like that the people we have in code enforcement and inspection are very competent employees, and they should, in the past, they handled themselves, and they should be able to do that themselves. This planner part requires, at least in my opinion, a very expertise, like having an engineer. You know, they have to review stormwaters, they have to, you know, do everything to another level. And I just don't want to stretch our current employees that much and have the funds available to pay a planner to send him or that community development employee to seminars, to conferences, get our word out there. And not slow up the inspection process also, because he may be out of town doing something else.
Thanks. Nothing personal, it's just
No.
your opinion. Right, I just want your opinion, that's what
No,
you
that is fine. I mean, there's a lot.
Right.
You know, just trying to relieve that pain of being stretched too far.
Nobody likes to be stretched.
Most of the staff knows what that mean is.
My biggest concern is how staff feels about, you know, jobs changing somewhat. And I'm not gonna ask their opinion now, but I'd like to know how they feel.
Well, if this is an open session, maybe we could do that. Tim, you're the one that has to do this. Can you tell us how you feel about it?
I'd rather not do it in open session.
Yeah, I didn't wanna put Tim on the spot.
Well, we've asked for Carmen's opinion. It's an opportunity for you to speak to the council.
I'm a paid employee, I do what I'm asked to do, so. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other, you know, as long as my paycheck keep coming in.
That sounds like an answer I would give. I'm asking about my job. Okay.
Mike seems like, Mike seems very confident, so, I mean, I would want to ask him the same thing, how he feels about it, and he's not here, so.
Well, I would ask him if he didn't have broad shoulders already.
Right. Well, maybe the thing to is to think about these things and look at these, and you can give input back to us and ask questions. We'll get answers back to you, and we've got time to think about it and see what you want to do. And it may not be any of these options. You may have something different.
Works for me.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
This does help us to form questions to ask, to get more information if we need from you guys, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I think that opens us up to our second public participation. If anybody wants to speak, you're welcome to come up and talk to us about something different than before.
Hello again. I love all the ideas about building our community up. One thing I've seen around town, and I thought about this as you guys were talking about it, and she was talking about the sidewalks in Cameron. And I know we've started, like down at Prospect, there's, beautiful sidewalks and added trees. And, I was a package car driver for UPS for, many years, and over in Chillicothe and Stewartville, or Chillicothe and St. Joe. And, when there's good sidewalks and stuff, and people are out walking their dogs, kids ride their bikes and stuff, and it just kind of brings the community together more. Like out here, on this side of Prospect, I think there's a ditch over here, and it just, there's not a whole lot for people to, cruise up through here. Not that, Walnut's a safe road to walk across or anything, but I've just noticed that, there's like little, I don't know what you call them, but they're like corner pieces with like an orange pad with like little traction, and then there's nothing. There's like dirt. Like they started it, but didn't. Was there a reason, why we put those? Like I see a lot of them on Main Street, I don't know, maybe,
That's a good question, man.
right. Put in an effort to maybe, or, something in the budget to start, the sidewalks again and the trees.
Oh, that's been talked about quite a bit.
Right. So,
Yeah. We as a city council, ever since I've been on the city council, that's been talked about.
sure.
We
Yeah.
really have, I agree with you, it's called connectivity. And also as a mother of children, you want your children safe on sidewalks. You don't
Right.
want them walking on streets, so yes, I agree.
Well, especially that, if you go down Prospect here, you got really nice sidewalks, and then it ends over by Beaver Park, and then you got that dangerous hill right there, and it, I don't even take my kids down that way just because it's crazy. It's a blind hill, so, and there's a big ditch, so it's like, stay on the little street or fall in a ditch. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Since he brought that up, Dr. Woodworth, Oregon Drive, to remind you guys, I called Shelley and told her, but just the rest of you so you're aware. Those trees that are out in Willowbrook, on that, right there where the electric is going in now, that other substation, just to the, I gotta get my directions right, west of that, there's a row of trees. The Boy Scouts and I planted those several years ago as an effort to have the city have trees available to transplant when they needed to. And they're beautiful, but I think a lot of people have forgotten they're there.
Thank you, yeah. Didn't another city employee help with that? Did that, or did you?
It was done when Drew was here.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I went over and done in St. Louis.
Okay, I do remember that. I do remember that. Thank you for letting us remind that we need to do that.
I did pass that message on to you, by the way.
What's that?
I did pass that message on.
Good. Good, thank you, Dee. Good. All right, that's it. Then we need to go to miscellaneous comments from staff. Steve?
Nothing more, thank you.
Pat?
No.
Chief? Chief?
No.
Ms. Carpenter? I will ask Amy since you're here. Do you have anything for us?
Nope, I was just gonna discuss the community development situation if you had questions.
Okay.
I'm homeless.
You're what?
I'm a homeless.
Oh, all right.
City Hall will be closed this Friday for Veterans Day. We did host our first trick or treat event here in City Hall last week, and we had a lot of games. We didn't have a lot of kids come in, but it was a lot of fun, and I think we'd like to do it again maybe next year.
It looked like it was with the pictures.
We were kind of concerned about it being so cold, so we wanted an indoor place for kids to put their.
My wife enjoyed it.
Yeah. We had quite a few people here, but not as many as we could have had. Maybe we could start a little earlier. Council filing will open on December 5th at 8 a.m. and close December 26th at 5 p.m. And sometime in the next couple of weeks, I will be posting notices about that. I do also need to advertise for letters of interest and resumes for the vacant council position. Do you guys have a date in mind when you're thinking about doing that appointment, so I know what the due date should be for those when I advertise that?
Good question.
I don't know about a specific due date, but I think after the holidays would be appropriate time. So whenever.
After Thanksgiving or after Christmas?
After the holiday season, after all that.
Okay.
So you can, no breaks or stress on your holidays, you just enjoy one normal holiday with your family before you get mixed up in the city government. Then you can hit the ground running on January. That's my opinion.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so we can do it through like the middle, through the end of December and maybe have something for you guys to look at for the first meeting in January.
Works for me.
That would be fun.
That way we'll also have a list at that time of who's filing for council, so. Okay, and the last thing, I made an error last year. We did a couple of codes last fall. One was to add the administrative fee for the trash, and the other one was change the recycling fee to $3. We did the first one in September, and that was adding the administrative fee. And then the second one we did in December. I wrote both of those, and when I wrote the second one, I overwrote the $1 administrative fee. And so when I got in the code book, one overwrote the other one. So there right now there's not the $1 administrative fee. Although the ordinances do authorize it, I need to get that fixed. I need to do a correcting ordinance to correct that.
Okay.
So.
Didn't know you could do that.
Yes. I do have a call into Unicode to see if I can just fix it through correspondence, but I suspect I'm going to have to do a correcting ordinance. And I just want to let you know that if I can't get it corrected, I will bring it up to the next meeting so that we can get it corrected.
Okay. Got it?
I attended the loggers meeting last Thursday and Friday in St. Louis, Missouri. Loggers is the retirement for municipal employees, very strong, very well funded, very well managed. Their goal was about a 7% return. Some years they've done better, some years not quite as well. Seems everything's going good, very strong, very financially, that they're able to fend off environmental ESG, but good program. I voted for loggers to continue, but I just wanted to vote for the Zacks to be downgraded. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that was a joke. That was a joke.
That you didn't fly with.
No, I didn't fly with it.
You really took it.
Yeah. So moved. I got one more thing. Chief Basher, the graduate of King City High School. Some of the most successful people in the world have graduated from King City High School. And Chief Basher is a prime example. Yeah.
Yeah, this week I'll be traveling to Jackson, Missouri for more Main Street training. And we'll be discussing the good aspects of historical preservation. So I should have some interesting things to come back with. I just want to say Main Street is not just a bunch of random people who want to do good stuff, we're actually training volunteers and professionals.
Alexander.
Yeah, you know how, just before the meeting started, I said, well, I always have these great ideas about what I'm gonna say, at the end of the meeting, and then when I get the microphone, I forget. Yeah, I forget.
Oh, look at the meeting. First of all, we have a young lady that has been going to state, and Mrs. Robinson, and I just want to congratulate her for that. This is her fourth year going, and I wish her the best. I do read the paper, and actually her did win. And I also want to thank all the volunteers in the community that came and worked for March Fest. That was just a couple weeks ago. That was very successful, and it makes our city look like what we are. We are hospitality people, and we come together and we work, and I just appreciate that, all of you people that did that. So continue to do it, and I think that's all I have. So thank you for coming, everyone. So I will entertain a motion to close this meeting and open up an executive. We will have an executive meeting for what? Done?
Attorney-client communications, real estate, personnel, and negotiating contracts.
Okay.
All the good stuff.
All in favor?
You need a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion. I will entertain a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
So roll call?
Yes.
Roll call, thank you.
Alexander Williams?
Yes.
Gina Reed Hitler?
Yes.
John Breckenridge?
Yes.
Becky Curtis?
Yes. All right.
Have a good night, everybody.